Doing good, doing good. How are you?
Good. Good. I'm doing good. It's almost the end of the week. I'm ready for this to be over.
Yep.
Yeah, long week,
It's been
man.
a
Long
long
week, but
week.
you know, we hanging in there,
Yeah.
hanging in there.
Yeah. Also, almost the end of February.
Yeah, man.
I feel
Black
like
History
we
Month.
we went through this month like just like that.
That's
Yeah.
normally how Black History Month go,
Oh,
man.
for
Just like that,
real.
it's gone
For real.
That's why they gave y'all
in and
short
out.
month. They gave y'all 3 weeks really.
Gave
Y'all to
us,
Technically,
celebrate.
us.
Gave y'all.
us, huh?
I was
They
like, what
gave
you?
it to y'all,
Oh, we
man.
forgot, man. You identify as transracial, man. My bad.
Nah, I just don't agree with having Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? Well, we don't need 1 month. We need 12 like everybody else.
Mhm.
Hey,
I agree.
well,
So
I
I
tell
guess
you
take
what.
what you can get, huh?
I tell you what, man. Uh, get with your local congressman, man,
Don't
and
do
said
no
we.
good.
You don't want to do that, nah.
Ain't gonna do no good.
Hey, man, you could be the next Martin Luther King.
I done heard some stories about him that I don't know if I want to be him
I
the
was
way
gonna
they
say
Yeah,
out
what
there
you
talking
mean? The only
about.
thing I didn't heard was, good stuff, man.
There's a lot of things going on now, man. I ain't get into that, but I mean, I guess you ain't been looking on social media the
Who,
past
Martin Luther
couple.
King?
Yeah.
Only thing I heard, man, he had a couple of mistresses or whatnot, man. But what's wrong with that? That man got a lot of pressure.
Wait a minute. When did this come out?
With the mistresses?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Martin Luther King, man, they didn't call that man the king for nothing.
Because that was his last name.
Yeah, he was a king, King Dingaling. That's what it
Oh
was.
my God.
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong
I
with
never
being
heard of
like
that.
Dr. Martin Luther the King.
I guess y'all want to be like Mr. King, huh?
Well, anyway, you don't celebrate it, but fuck it, I take it. You know, big props to Black History Month, even though it's almost over, only got about a week left. You know, it's I think one of my Facebook friends, Tracy Lynn Jackson, man, she's been putting up uh, Black History facts. Like I think every day, man, there's a lot of good stuff on there. So really makes you proud of your heritage or whatnot. So, like I said, I mean, it is a month, at least a month to reflect. Kind of get in and feel good about yourself or whatnot. So, like you said, man, we'll take what we get from that, and then hopefully we do have a young advocate, that'll come up through the trenches, man, and see if we can get a couple more of those months.
No
So,
doubt. No doubt.
Hey y'all, I see all y'all on the comments. Keith said he loves the show. Thank you.
yeah, we appreciate it, man.
He said do 2 more camera angles.
2 more camera angles.
That's yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, man, hit me up, inbox me, man. We'll discuss that, figure out, how we can
Change
accomplish
it.
that, man. We
Yeah.
got 4 cameras right now, so, but we looking to enhance. Like I said, we're still new at it, but Keith, we definitely appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let me go on and jump on so I can actually
Keep
read the
up.
comments, man. Give everybody the opportunity to tap in with us.
Carl said, I guess King was on FBI tapes with the side piece.
Oh, man, look, man,
Look, I'm not.
y'all can't condemn this man for having a side chick, man. That dude had a lot of pressure on him, man. What you heard bad about the dude? I want to know what you heard.
No, man, because I'm not finna say nothing bad about Dr. King. I'm just going off what they saying, man. Look, I just saw where, they were saying King was really the sellout, man. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
man, King was a gangster.
they
You
was
got to
really
go really
saying
look at
Martin
those
Luther
tapes,
King.
man.
Like I
He
said,
was a
but
pastor.
Listen, they don't assassinate sellouts. You know what I'm saying? The dude was finna make some major moves, man. He wasn't that. I know he get coined as like, hey, man, he the peaceful guy and spit in his face and he gonna pray for you, man. But behind closed doors, that dude was really a G, man.
here's the thing, man. Like I said, I'm just going off the history books and what I've been seeing. Now, I can't speak on Dr. King, man. I wasn't around in the 60s, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what he did or none of that. I just, we celebrate him from what we learned in school and in the history books. So, yeah, I mean, that's
He
pretty
said the
much it.
history books.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing.
Not the stories,
I'm
not the
saying?
history, but the history books.
The history books, man.
Blaze said, hey, Blaze.
What's up, Blaze?
Big Blaze, what's up, baby?
All right.
Yeah, he was Blaze was actually, man, in Houston. Last week?
Blaze in Houston the past week. I jumped on and watched a little bit of it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They was out there balling out,
Hey.
doing their thing.
Yeah, Blaze, hey, man, we appreciate all your support, man.
Yes, thank you. We're here to support all y'all. Thank you for supporting us. Okay, y'all ready to jump into it? We got a couple more people.
Man, let me
What?
see. Yeah. Let's.
go.
Hey,
What?
how many people we got on?
It looks like about 15 right now.
Okay. All righty. Well, I'm ready when y'all ready, man. I think we got a good show lined up. I definitely got some stuff I want to talk about, so I kind of save my stuff for maybe last or whatnot because,
No,
I'm about to get into it.
It'll just be in, just flow, go with the flow. Just be
What,
in
what,
there.
what we got? What we got?
Well, the
What we
first
got
thing,
first?
okay, so first thing that we really wanted to talk about because one of my girlfriends sent it to me. Stacy, thank you. And if you guys have anything that y'all want us to talk about, send it to one of us three. We'll address it. But it was a video. She sent me a snippet from TikTok of Dion Sanders, and he was talking about his requirements that he has for his position, certain position players. And one of them was his quarterback. And some of his requirements, the quarterback has to have a 3.5 GPA, has to be from a dual family household, has to be a good citizen out there. So I'm just like, what do you guys think about that? Like, that's just, to me, it's crazy, but what do y'all think?
Okay. Well, I hadn't got a chance to actually see the video. I just heard a little bit of it. So here's the thing, man. The as far as being you know what I'm saying, a model citizen, you know what I mean, or having a 3.5 GPA, that should be required for all the athletes. If you know what I'm saying, not just your quarterback. If that's something that you want to, you know what I mean. But the 2-parent household thing, making that a requirement to play quarterback, man,
that's what got me.
Yeah, I don't know if I can rock with that one. And the reason being, man, what are you saying to those kids that didn't have that luxury? What are you saying to them kids, man, that wanted to come from a 2-parent household but couldn't?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My whole thing is a kid don't determine to make their circumstances. You know what I mean? You just born into it. So, man, to say you want your quarterback to come from a 2-parent household is almost borderline saying, like what they said for years, you know what I mean? Only white boys can play quarterback. Only, black men are not smart enough, or black athletes are not smart enough to play quarterback. You're not saying that, but you're almost putting the same type of stipulations on what you want out of a quarterback. You know what I mean? And no, I can't rock with that one.
Well, let me say this, man. First and foremost, man, Dion is someone that I've looked up to, almost my entire life, man. I think he's, exemplified excellence, not only in his football playing career, but also just the way that he's lived his life, as a man of God, first and foremost, and just as an inspiration and a role model. I think I agree with about just everything that Dion has put out there except for this statement, So when you stereotype a person's character based on the household that they come up in, man, that's just wrong. And as much as I love Dion and I follow his tutelage and his mentorship, I can't rock with that one. Not every kid, comes through a single parent household, by choice of the parents, man. You may have a parent that maybe passed away at a young age, or some things that may have been out of their control that removed them from that household. So when you say, hey, man, you know what, just because, you don't meet this criteria, I won't even consider you to be, the leader of my team, because let's face it, the quarterback is the leader of the football team.
Yeah.
Right? So you're basically saying, man, if you don't meet these criteria or this specific criteria, you're not fit to lead. I have a huge problem with that.
But is that wrong to have requirements? I mean,
not at all.
Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with that one thing, but looking at it, I know you guys as coaches have requirements for your players. I mean, is it so bad that he is saying, "Oh, I require this, this, and this"? I mean, it is getting a little personal, but it's
not bad. I mean, it's requirements for everything you do with anything in life. But here's the thing, though, with Dion making it look, like Fred said, man, being the quarterback is the leader of the team. You cannot make a requirement on any job, because playing quarterback is a job. On any job based on your home environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? this should come from your production of what you do within that job. And most leaders probably don't come from 2-parent household anyway.
That's what Carl just said. He said that he didn't even come from a 2-parent household.
You know.
So,
especially as black men, most leaders, man, that don't come from a 2-parent house, I mean, that's instilled in you from your mom at an early age.
I wonder why he said that. I wonder why, like, what is driving that, him saying that? Because so that's the quarterback, and then he went to go say another position can have a 3.3 GPA, and he gives off, I don't know if it was his running backs or what, but just a different requirement.
So you could be dumber to play this position.
Yes.
Right. So the statement that he made is, he wouldn't care about his defensive linemen. He wants them to come from a single parent household. They tend to be a little bit more hungry. They kind of got that go get it attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like basically they dogs.
So he don't want that from everybody on the team.
Well, basically what he's saying is, and it's kind of
some stuff he probably just shouldn't have said and kept it to himself.
Right.
Basically.
But in my opinion, okay. So as a youth football coach, not saying that it's right or even fair, but I've heard coaches say, I want that ghetto ass kid. I want the kid who fights all the time or whatnot because they think that transitions over to the football field. And I'm telling you from someone who grew up in that type of environment, when you're undisciplined, that don't translate over to the football field. Football is a game of discipline. It's a game of control. It's a game of being able to express yourself, in a controlled, positive manner. So when you got the gangbangers and you got the thugs and stuff that want to play football and they bring that same attitude and mentality to the game, man, hey, that's not positive.
Well, here's the thing, though. You know what I'm saying? If the coach can say they want those type of kids, okay, you can say that. And I can understand. I can almost understand why they say that. But here's the thing, though. When you bring those type of kids in, what are you doing as a coach to help them, use the aggression they have in a positive manner? You know what I mean? Are you going to take those kids and let them be the thugs and the gangsters that they are on the football field? Or are you going to take, because they are a product of their environment, if you're going to take some of the stuff that they've learned in the negative way and make it work for you on the football field, but mold them into the person that they need to be in society. You see what I mean? So it all depends on what your motive is to want those type of kids in your program. You see what I mean? If I just want them over there so we can act a damn fool and hopefully win some football games, man, you're not doing it for the right reason. But truth be told, if it's a bunch of little thug kids out here, man, and I hate to say these word thug kids, but kids that's kind of doing things they shouldn't be doing or whatnot. Yeah, man, you know what? We should want them kids in our program. Yeah. We should say, hey, man, we want them type of kids in our program.
Right.
But we want them kids in our program to try to change their mentality and give them something better than what they have right now. But I get what you're saying. What you're saying, man, we want them type of kids because they feel like that's what's supposed to happen. That's what you need to have on the football field in order to have success.
Right. Now that's not something that I subscribe to.
No. But I know that's what you're saying.
I've heard coaches say that.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at this, I'm looking at Ricky. Ricky made a comment. You can use his own son as an example. His son didn't come from a 2-parent household, and Carl said the same thing. He would have to bench his own son. So once again, those are prominent points because it's almost like the nepotism deal. Okay, well, it's cool with my son. My son don't meet that criteria, but I'm gonna allow him to be that way. Right. But when I'm looking at your child, it's a whole different set of criteria. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I agree with Dion on, but this one, he's completely
wrong,
off base. He's wrong. And you know what? In his fairness, I'll say this. I only listened to that one sound bite.
I was just about to say, maybe we need to hear the whole thing.
So I don't know the entire context of it. So I don't want to be premature and prejudice behind the comment that he made. But from what I saw, it just looks bad. Because all of us, I ain't going to say all of us, the majority of us look to Dion as someone who's setting the trend. Blazing the trail for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dion has always had the back of the young, minority athlete, if you care to use the term minority or whatnot. Even when he had the truth, a lot of those kids come from single parent households, whatnot. So he's always put in the work, with the underprivileged, underserved kids in that community. However,
so why would you go back and say this?
That's my point. If I were able to speak to Dion, I would ask him, why the change in philosophy now? I know you're coaching at a Power 5 institution or whatnot, so maybe it's the boosters, maybe it's the pressure to say, hey man, this is how we want our organization to look.
That's not HBCU, right?
No. That's a PWI. You know what I'm
You-
saying? You know.
You think that things changed, like how you think he changed how he moves when it comes to our people when he went to this school? I don't know. I
That's
just
still
feel
to be
like
determined. I don't think he'll change the way he moved with that. But I mean, in order for him to keep his job, well, I can't say that either. But I mean, he's going to have to conduct himself in a different manner than he did at Jack State. Not saying he did anything wrong with Jack State. He did a great job there.
Yeah.
But now you're here, so you gotta do things different here, and you gotta say things different here. You see what I mean? So that could be part of why he's saying that. But at the same time, it still ain't the right thing to say.
Guys,
You know.
hold on for just a second. Hey, can we make sure that we're able to broadcast on that San Antonio Youth Sports page? I just got a text from one of our guys and saying that they're not able to see it. So I just want to make sure that we're good on there. Okay, so I think I'm getting a thumbs up that we should be good on there. So if you are on that sports page, hit me up. Hold on, let me see. Let me see what it's saying.
My hot tamales tonight, man. I ain't get them.
Okay, it's saying the content isn't available right now.
Hungry.
So I don't know if you can double check that for us. Okay, so guys, be patient with us if you're trying to check in from that youth sports page or whatnot. We're gonna work on that to try to get it to try to get you guys up and going. In the meanwhile, if you guys want to jump on just my personal page, or if you go to the Tap In page, or you can even go to YouTube.
You go to my IG Live.
Can't do YouTube? Why? What's wrong with that?
Okay.
Nope. Okay, got it.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, so you can go to my personal page and tap in with us on there. All right. And if you're not able to get in through there, just send me a friend request and I'll go ahead and add you. So let me see.
We on my IG Live, right? Yeah, you can also go on my Instagram. I'm live on there. Okay,
All right. So we apologize for that technical delay or whatever. We're working on getting that up and going.
Oh,
but
you got to make sure it's public, he said. Carl said, make sure it's public.
okay. And that's
Yeah.
on that youth page. Okay, man. We got like a top-notch technology team back here, man. So they about to get it going. So we up? Okay. All right. So it's showing that we up on there. So if you get a chance, go back on there low. If you can't get on there, just hit me up. That way I can put you on my personal page.
Patrick said, what's the topic tonight? Patrick, we're right now talking about Dion Sanders. He posted a snippet of him saying how he has certain requirements for his quarterback. So for different skill positions. And right now, we just not agreeing with his requirements.
And this is crazy because this is like a unanimous agreement. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I think it's hard it's already hard enough, man, for young black athletes, when it comes to playing that particular position. All right. Now, we just witnessed the Super Bowl with two black quarterbacks, Now, I know both of those kids, from what it appears, come from two-parent households, right? Now, I don't know if they was in the same household.
I know. Hurts did. I don't know
Right.
about Mahomes.
Well, I mean, his dad is in the picture.
No, he did.
Yeah, I know Mahomes' dad is in the picture, so I don't know if they
yeah.
actually lived in the same household or whatnot. But at the end of the day, man, we don't want to unfairly stereotype young black quarterbacks, and at the same time, what are you telling the defensive lineman? All right, as long as you're not a quarterback, you can be the thug, you can be the gangster, you can come from a one-parent household where
You don't have
parents
to be
don't
as
give a
smart
damn about
as the
you. You
quarterback.
have to be a smart, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, we just
like
suspect
that.
more. We just suspect more from Dion because, like I said, we look up to Dion. I do. I mean, I can't speak for you guys. Like I said, growing up,
Not after saying
Dion
that.
is my favorite defensive player of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said,
I almost wore my Dion's tonight.
so Dion, if Dion is tapped in, look, hey man, we just want a clarification as far as what you meant by that comment, man. Maybe you said it in fun or you just joking around or whatever and stuff, man. But definitely, man, if you get an opportunity, man, make that right with your people. You got a lot of parents that would love their kid to come play for you, right? But after hearing those comments, that may be kind of difficult, man. So I'm going to make one suggestion, man. I don't know if Zimmy is on or whatnot, man. Zimmy, if you get a chance to check out this podcast, man, because Zimmy has direct connections with Dion. He can call Dion on the phone immediately. That's the kind of relationship they have, and I'm pretty sure Zimmy would be able to find out exactly what he meant by that. You know what I'm saying? So,
especially for the people that are. I saw one of the comments. We got to scroll back down, but it was a single mom, who said she raised 3 boys, and it's just like that's a slap in the face to the single moms because they out there doing the damn thing, and then you're telling me that you are not going to give my son a chance because it's just me raising my kids like that. That's.
Well, I'll say this in his defense. From what I heard, it didn't sound like. He didn't say he wouldn't give him a chance. It just sounded like he said that's what he prefers.
Well, if you prefer something, the people that don't meet those criteria, they're not even going to try to apply.
Right.
Like, it's just, that's not even, yeah.
All right. So, my boy Hatter said Prime is going to be Prime. He has done more good than wrong for the game. We all say some shit somebody not going to like. It's called life. And you know what, Hatter? Look, man, I agree with you on that, man. Mm-hmm. The guy, like I said, I don't think nobody's up here trying to cancel Dion for his comment, man. We know that brother means well. We know he's done a lot to help, hundreds, if not thousands of kids, in that DFW area and throughout the country. So we still going to get a man his flowers. But, none of us are above criticism and ridicule, especially when it comes to making it right, for our younger generation.
That, and especially when you're in the limelight, you just gotta watch what you say.
That's kind of something like we can move into the next topic on that right there. What you just saying, like making things right or whatnot. So, man, something I want to speak on is just looking at different. Man, we'd all been on social media the past couple of days, joking around on different opinions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that I see a lot of when I ran across a comment today that said something about us. And this just as the city of San Antonio coming together. Why we won't come together and I guess, not allow our egos to keep us from doing things together or whatnot. And, I mean, we've all heard that, but man, I done got to the point where I'm kind of sick of seeing that. You know what I'm saying? And, it's the comment itself is a good comment. That's a good thing. Why don't we come together? Why would that? It's a good thing to say that, but we say it so much. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And ain't nothing happened.
What are we doing to change
nothing happened. And see, here's my thing on that, man. A lot of people gonna disagree, but here's my thing on that. Man, you can't ask people to come together when everybody's not gonna reap the same benefits of the collaboration. You get what I'm saying? You can't ask everybody to come together all the time when it's only going to be one side of that collaboration of it reaping the benefits.
Right.
Almost like, let me use you an example, man. So it's like the Outlaws. You know what I'm saying? Outlaws, premier organization, man, known nationally. Pretty much, man, probably the most popular organization in the state of Texas. Right?
In the country.
We
still in the
country.
Okay,
I'll say that.
Put some respect on my
So
name.
here's the thing. And I'm going to use me because it's a little different with me because, you know what I'm saying, my ego and stuff don't allow that stuff to bother me. But okay, you got Fred. Let's say we got Fred here and we got organization B here. You know what I'm saying? Tori's organization. Tori running the whatever. She got
the San Antonio
Queens.
The Divas.
Hey.
And Fred got the Outlaws. And Fred, you out here pumping it. Man, let's collab. Okay, we sitting back looking, and you asking everybody to collab, and let's come together, and let's do this, let's do that. But everybody looking at you, and you got 250 kids in your organization. We sitting over here with 50. And in everybody's mind, what they thinking is, yeah, I can go ahead and collab with Fred, you know what? But Fred got 250, I got 50. And as soon as I collab with him, he going to take 25 of my 50. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the problem comes in. So what are we going to get out of it by collabing with Fred? Are we going to stack Fred organization even more than what it is? Or are we going to actually get something out of it too?
So what you're saying, so let me break this down just so I can make sure I understand too. So what you're saying is the city always constantly talks about, hey, we need to come together. Let's make it right. San Antonio strong. Let's stay together.
But what are we coming together for?
What are we coming together for? And then every time we do try to come together, everybody doesn't get to reap the benefits, and it's always somebody stabbing somebody in the back.
It's always somebody stabbing somebody in the back, and there's always somebody that's going to, okay, I put it like this. So, man, most of the people is always saying come together are the ones that feel like they got kind of a
leg up.
Yeah, and, man, I just put it like this, bro. most people out here, man, they can have it all, right? And you can have just a little bit, but they still gonna try to take that little bit you got. You know what I'm saying? That's why people in their brain or people thinking, man, I'm not going to come together. But I tell you how we can come together. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all can take this as a promotion or whatever you want to do. This whole thing with fraternity athletics. And I'm being serious right now.
Yeah.
Man, I felt like coming together is this, okay? Man, I got DMF Ducks. That's my football organization. Fraternity athletics is my business. Fred's part of fraternity athletics with the Outlaws. We're talking to other organizations about becoming fraternity athletics under there. That's us on the side where we come together and all of our kids reap the same benefits of what we're trying to do. We're trying to put together tutoring programs. We're trying to put together mentorship programs. All this stuff outside of football to where we come together as one and we all reap the same benefits. You see what I mean?
Got it.
We can't come. I can't ask Fred, hey, man, come be a part of fraternity athletics. You know what I mean? And all my kids going to get a chance to do this. And his kid's going to sit there and not be able to do nothing. You
so
see what
fraternity
I mean?
and sorority athletics are basically, what would you call, like a movement type of thing?
Okay, fraternity, and it's a business. Don't get me wrong. It's a business because there's going to be some things that I can't. And see, my point is that some things you can't ask. I'm trying to get to the point of it. Some things you can't ask people to collab with you on. Because on the business part of it, hey, look, I'm going to make money because it's a business.
Right.
So I can't ask you to be a part of that. If that's going to be your choice if you want to do it or not. But I can't get mad for you not being stupid and saying, okay, I'm going to jump on this with you so I can make all the money and I can make $500,000 and I can pay you $100. I can ask you, you know what I'm saying, to be a collab on that. But the whole thing, like I said, man, it's the coming together and all that, man, that's something that we need to do. But you know how the first way we could break that and all come together as a city, let's put something together. Let's put something together as a city, right? And all the funds go to a charity. Let's put something together as a city, and everything that come in, all that funds go to some charity, and whatever that charity go to, it is going to help out all the stuff that we're trying to do as youth organizations. Now, let's see how many people want to come together on that. Let's see if they have that same attitude when it comes to that.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Okay. So this is a touchy subject for me because I'm born and raised in San Antonio. Over the last several years, the majority of the voices that represent San Antonio are not people that are homegrown here.
Right.
So they don't know the culture. They don't know what real San Antonians believe in as far as what we mean when we come as far as unity. I wore a hoodie last week that said Denver Heights on there, right? That's the neighborhood I grew up in.
I saw the lure you got for that.
I had over 30 people inbox me like, hey, man, we want to get these hoodies, right? And I'm going to be real with you. The majority of them, I'm like, man, just here. Because these are neighborhood friends, childhood friends that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? And I may not talk to these folks every day, but there's still that unity, from in a sense of pride from when we see each other, right? And they want to see you do well, right? They support the podcast. They support everything I do, whether they got kids in the program or not, right? Because they support me. When it comes to San Antonio youth sports, it's very polarizing. Meaning it's, if you're not down with this group of folks, you know what I'm saying, then you got to be against them.
That's the stupid part of it. Yeah.
See, my thing is this, man, and I tell people this all the time, man, like, I don't mess with a lot of people, right? My circle is very, very, very small, right? So naturally people think, oh man, well, Fred is thinks he's this, he thinks he's that, and that's not the case. Because just because I don't rock with you don't mean I won't support what you're trying to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I may not want to be directly involved in it, but I can still support it from a distance. So when I think about San Antonio coming together, to me it's basically just getting rid of the negative attitudes toward other folks that are doing something that either you're not in a position to do,
right,
or it's not something
right,
that you initiated.
Right.
Right? So when I see folks say, hey, man, let's start this movement going in this direction, a lot of folks, because of their egos, will say, damn, because I can't be the headliner for that,
right,
I'm not going to support it. Matter of fact, it's not that I'm not going to support it, I'm going to hate on it.
Right.
I'm going to try to tear it down from the inside out. It's just a lot of you guys out there, and I'm speaking strictly to San Antonio now. It's a lot of you guys out there, you know what I'm saying, that think that we don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all of the negative back talk and, you know, man, the trying to tear brothers down and stuff like that, man, all that stuff is noticed. So when that same person comes to me and say, hey, man, let's build something up, I'm like, nah, homie, because I know where your heart is at. I know where your heart is at. You know what I'm saying? You've already exposed yourself indirectly to the masses. So a lot of folks are not going to get behind those type of folks. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the ones of the belief of this right here. As much as I love my city, every time I hear somebody say, man, unite the city, I just laugh at it, right? Because I know there's a hidden agenda and a false narrative that goes along with that. There's some type of selfish motivation for that unity. You know what I'm saying? Even when you mentioned like doing something for charity, all right? If the charity ain't a charity of their choice, they're not going to do it, right? So you got to get selfish as well and say, hey, man, look, let's do something to where you'll benefit, right? You may not have put in the same amount of work, but you'll still get the same amount of reward. And it'll still be a conflict from someone, right? So it's like now I'm at the point to where I just say, hey, man, to each his own. Get out there and do the best that you can do, and don't worry about what other people think about
what you're doing,
what your movement
how
is.
you do it,
right?
Exactly.
So, and let me just say this real quick, man, because I've even had some of my own folks ask me about fraternity athletics. Man, you know, we seen that the Outlaws are part of fraternity athletics, but I thought fraternity athletics was the DMF Ducks, and I said no, the DMF Ducks is an organization. Fraternity athletics is a movement. You know what I'm saying? It's a brotherhood, man. So if you've know anything about college life and stuff like that, fraternity is a brotherhood, right? It symbolizes a brotherhood. So you don't have to be in the same organization to share a brotherhood, all right? For those of you that played football at a high level, you know, there's always been a mutual respect for everyone that takes that field together, whether they're on your same team or not. Football is a game of respect. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know that when we step on that football field, we putting something on the line. You know, we seen the stuff with DeMar Hamlin, right? This guy could have almost lost his life. There's people who have lost their lives playing this game, right? So there's a certain brotherhood of respect to where you say, hey, man, when we on that field, hey, we going at each other. But the moment we step off that field, we brothers again.
Brothers again.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's one thing that I want to say, too, when it comes to this, man. So, you know, with people like, okay, the Ducks, it's fraternity athletics and blah, blah, blah. See, that automatically make me feel like that's part of a problem, too. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, yeah, the DMF Ducks is my organization, San Antonio Outdoor Organization. Fraternity athletics is a movement, a business, everything, you know what I'm saying, that I am hoping, you know what I'm saying, I would say, which is going to sound kind of crazy, but I'm hoping not to just unite San Antonio, but unite everybody. Mm-hmm. There's a business side to it. We have trainers. Man, one of my trainers is an outlaw, so I don't know how anybody could think, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So one of my trainers, my head trainer is an outlaw. Mm-hmm. So it's a business. We're gonna offer training. I'm gonna have trainers for you. We're gonna offer the tutoring, the mentorship. And man, I'm hoping to get everybody involved in that. You see what I'm saying?
And I think that's just where the confusion kind of came. Because I've had people ask me as well, you know, hey, what's the difference between the Ducks and fraternity athletics? And I say,
well,
you know,
it's told them, ask Coach Maurice.
Well,
you know
you're right. But knowing that it's a movement, you know, and I said that I would ask you on the show, so we're on a platform where you could better explain it. So it's a movement where you're bringing everybody, no matter what organization you're with.
Don't care. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You just happen to be the one to think of it. It's your business.
Not only that, though, we're going to also have apparel. So we will have apparel out there for you. And different events coming. So, yeah, like I said, it's I wasn't trying to use this as the whole thing, talk about fraternity athletics. I will say that. What I'm trying to say is this, man. We got to do different things that if we want to come together. And here's an opportunity to come together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Here's an opportunity to do it. Show if you really want to come together on it, because all of our kids can reap the same benefits from it. You see what I mean? It's not about us.
So being with fraternity athletics, if anybody, whether it be an individual coach, parent, goes to you and says, hey, I want to be a part of fraternity athletics, what does that mean? Do they have to say, I'm specifically coming for training? or I'm specifically coming for tutoring? Like, what does that mean when they come to you and say, I want to be a part of it?
I mean, that's to be determined. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's to be determined.
So
It depends on what
kind of still in the
you're trying
works.
to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look, let me chime in on that, because to me, you can be a part of the fraternity athletic family even without a formal announcement. Man, it's just by accepting, embracing
The mentality. Yeah.
the mentality that we have, man. And that's, we all in it together. Like I said, we want to beat each other. Don't get me wrong, man, but, there's still a level of respect that goes along with what we're trying to do with these kids, right? There are a lot of coaches and organizations out there that deserve to be respected,
Yeah.
right? Even if they're not. You see, I was talking to Coach Mike about this earlier today. We were just talking about like some of the coaches' egos or whatnot, right? And one of the things that I had said was, and this is my firm belief, you'll never hear me call another coach trash, ever. And I don't care, how bad of decisions they make or whatnot, because to me, coaching is subjective, right? So a lot of these guys alienate themselves by thinking that they are bigger than what they are.
Can you go back to this? I mean, I swear I don't mean to cut you off, but you just said something, man. I want to use an example. And this, it's going to be real quick, man. I want you to go back to what you're saying, because it's tied right into what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Okay, so, man, I put up a post the other day about being old head, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever. And, man, a lot of people laugh at that. But, see, man, with us, we always had old heads, and we still got old heads over us, too. And, man, you need to listen to them sometimes. They may be
Right.
trying to tell you something that's going to help you in the long haul, because they've been through things.
Right.
So you just said about calling coaches trash, your ego, stuff like that. Let me give y'all a story about me. So I can go back, man, to where that TV show first came out that we were on.
Right.
I can tell you, man, one of the dumbest things that everybody, the F the Rockets thing, everybody remember that.
Right.
Woo woo F the Rockets. Okay, that went viral.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got suspended for it. Man, that wasn't the stupidest thing that I said on that episode. That wasn't the stupidest thing that was done, and nobody paid attention to it. You know what the stupidest thing that was done on that episode?
What's that?
I made a comment on that episode, and this is what I said. The Justin Jr. Rockets fear me and hate me. I remember making that comment. This is what I just said. The Justin Jr. Rockets fear me
Right.
and hate me. You see what I'm saying? Man, I look at that now, and man, that's the dumbest. Because, man, that was ego, and that was
ego.
making everything
Yeah.
about me at the
Right.
time.
Yep.
Man, at that point, you know what I mean? If I was a parent in my organization or any other parent, I'm like, man, I ain't playing for that
Yeah, you
dude,
don't wanna
man.
play.
I'm about to pull my kid. Because, man, the mentality that I had at that time, man, yes, man, I could say I cared about because I did care about my kids, don't get me wrong. Because, man, I had a good group of kids over there. But in that moment, think about it, in that moment, man, that was all about me.
Right.
Yeah.
So the stuff that we try to tell you, you younger cats that's coming along now, that's coaching and whatnot, and y'all look at it like, man, they just hating, and man, they did this and they did that. Well, man, we trying to tell you to do it differently, man. Because don't make the same dumb mistakes or the stupid stuff that we did. Because look at what youth football ended up becoming, because a lot of the dumb mistakes that we made and others.
But it's
Why
not,
can't we just fix it?
it's not gonna work like that. This generation is completely different. It's completely different. Whether it be 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, they operate differently. So you trying to tell somebody, hey, don't touch that stove. It's hot. They finna touch the
gonna do it
stove.
anyway.
They gonna do it anyway.
Well, see, my thing goes back to this, and it's just, man, there used to be a certain level of respect with people that were humble, but now humble is looked upon as being weak.
Yeah.
So when we talk about just uniting, I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna unite with anyone, that feels they're, above me. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm no better than anyone. So why would I allow you to think that you're better than me?
Right.
Right? That's just human nature for the most part, right? And most of those folks who tend to think that they are bigger than other folks, they don't have a true following. They just have followers. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference, because as a leader, you want to inspire other leaders. That's the way I look at it, right? So in San Antonio, man, I want to inspire other leaders, because I was inspired by leaders. Every great leader at one point in time had to be a great follower. You know what I'm saying? And when we just talk about San Antonio specifically, because I'm going to get into some stuff with the showcase. You know, these are my topics of discussion. I want to discuss some things with the showcase, some things with San Antonio versus Houston, because, you know, that's like one of the elephants in the room, right? Because regardless of what people say, you know, there's a huge divide amongst how we look at ourselves when it comes to outside competition, right? In youth sports within San Antonio, within the state of Texas, right? But just to clarify what I'm saying when it comes to the ego situation, I don't speak down on anything that I don't have, right? I don't speak down on anything that I don't have, right? So I've heard coaches talk down on type of championships, right? You know, Coach Q with the Bear County Panthers, I'm sorry. They won the type of championship, right? Man, I salute that guy.
That was a good
right?
squad, too.
You know,
They was
I
cold.
salute that. You know, if you're a head coach or if you're an organization that has never won a type of championship, you don't have room to criticize Coach Q
Right.
or the Bear County Panthers. You've never won that.
And, hey,
You know what
man,
I'm saying?
honestly, that little group, they probably would have won the championship in any of these leagues.
Right,
to be honest with
that group was that good.
Yeah.
Salute those kids, salute those coaches, salute those parents. Don't tear them down, right? That's the bullshit culture in San Antonio, right? If you've never won a Najib championship, man, don't clown that because you've never achieved that, right? If you've never won a AYF national championship, there's nothing that you can say about that, you know, to diminish the accomplishment for someone who's done that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you've never won a YNC championship, there's nothing that you can say to diminish that, right? So when I say a lot of the times I don't even speak on things that I have not personally accomplished. I have a Najib championship. I have a Taifa championship. The org has a AYF national championship. So I feel like I'm entitled to speak on those championships, right? You know what I'm saying? But until you have accomplished what some of these other coaches have accomplished, why is your ego so big to where you feel like you can speak down on the next? You know, let me just finish making this point, man, because this is very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I jump on social media in these youth forums, you got coaches claiming this, claiming that. Well, I'm the best coach, right? But you don't have a body of work to prove that. You know what I'm saying? So, but once again, like I said, I don't say that coaches are trash or this guy can't coach because, in my opinion, coaching is subjective. All right? The same person that thinks that you're a trash coach, it's another person that thinks you're a great coach because you are identifying with whatever needs that player has, you know. But we've gotten into this kiss ass culture to the where you just kiss the ass of the person who's most popular, regardless of whether how good or bad that person is. You know what I'm saying? So once again, man, like I said, I'm not gonna talk down on anyone. You know what I'm saying? Unless, you know, I got to defend myself or my organization. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? For all you people, specifically in San Antonio, that have something negative to say about a Najib championship, about one championship, a type of championship, AYF, YNC, Gridiron, I'll go back to Texas Select, whatever. If you ain't accomplished that, man, shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Try to speak positivity to these coaches and these kids.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, now I get you on that championship part. As far as, like, man, everybody going to have something negative to say about different leagues because, you know, everybody got their own preference of what league they want to play in. So I get that. As far as talking down on championships, you're exactly right, man. They can't talk down on that. But you just said about calling coaches trash and stuff like that. Man, most of the time when guys are talking down on another coach, it's because they see them as a threat. And when they're no longer a threat to them, then, you know what I'm saying?
Best friend?
Yeah, they'll end up being best friends.
Best friends.
Or they'll start out as best friends, and then, you know, they'll see you as a threat, and they start talking down on you to try to build their own platform, which is cool. Do your thing. To each his own. But as far as, like, trash coaches when it come to youth football, man, it's some coaches that coach youth sports, period, that don't have an idea of what's going on. It's some coaches that coach. They probably could be coaching on the college level, but they just don't have the education behind it. So they're coaching youth football. But at the end of the day, it's like what you just said. You can't call any of them trash. You can't base a good coach on how many wins or losses they have. Like, okay, I get it. Like Fred just said, you know what I'm saying? You can't talk down on anything that you hadn't accomplished. That's just, you can't talk down on that. But at the same time, man,
I mean, hold on. You can talk down on it, but you're gonna look,
but
you're gonna look like a fool
that.
Yeah, right.
by doing it.
Right, there you go. You really don't have no, you know what I'm saying? You
Credibility.
really, yes, exactly. But at the same time, man, I know some coaches. I know some coaches that haven't won a game. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. They may finish every season 3-5, 2-8, but they good coaches. It just all depends on the caliber kids you have. I put it like this, and I'm not saying me personally. I'm talking about the guys that I had around me this year.
Yeah.
So I coached at the Cibolo Spartans this past season. I had a little flag team. We didn't make the playoffs. I think we finished 3-5. Man, I felt like I had some guys that were some really good coaches with me, because what happened is that those guys helped some kids that started off the season that really didn't know anything. And at the end of the season, everybody had learned and got better, and we was able to compete in ball games.
And that's
so
what
I
it's
feel like
about.
they were great coaches. I feel like
That's
those
what
guys
it's
were
about.
great coaches. You see what I mean? So,
because these coaches now, like, I'm not going to talk, I'm the last person, but I have two sons, you know, that play. My husband, he knows a lot about football. And I'm just like, there are a lot of coaches that probably don't even need to be coaching.
right. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of them that don't need to be out there. I mean, coaching, and that's not just football. That's all sports. There's a lot of guys that probably shouldn't be doing it. But see, it's a lot of guys that are good coaches, but they shouldn't be coaching because of the motivation that they have behind why they coaching.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? There's a lot of guys that don't know anything about football, but they should be coaching youth football because of their motivation behind it and what they want to see, you know, happen.
Accomplish.
Exactly. So
do you think that the organizations need to have a better vetting system of coaches?
Okay, let me speak on this. All right, so every league serves a purpose. Every organization serves a purpose. Who are we to say what an organization should do to vet their coaches, right? Not all these coaches share the same motivation, right? Some coaches are out there simply to keep kids off the street so they can give a damn whether or not they win a football game, right? Mm-hmm. They may be accomplishing their goal, right? So as parents, what you need to do is identify what's important to you and see if that aligns with the organization.
But why are you allowing somebody in your organization to be a coach if he doesn't? Like, you can have the best person to have the best interest, your child's interest at heart, but then you put him as a coach and, you know, they over tackling drills and the kids are hitting like this, helmet to helmet.
Okay. But as being a head of that, man, it's YouTube videos, a whole lot of stuff a coach can learn to just be able to do some drills. Yeah. You know what I mean? Man, I would much rather have somebody coaching with me who wants to see what's best for these kids, what's best for the organization, that has minimum football knowledge, rather than have somebody that played in the NFL but's going to come out there and going to tear my whole organization down or go against everything that we're trying to do and everything we're trying to build and not instilling what we need to instill in these kids. You see what I mean? So, man, that can go either way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, you really, at the end of the day, I don't even know. Man, in youth sports, man, truth be told, man, you really don't even know if it's about the knowledge of the game, man, is what you need. You just need good people out there, man.
Okay, so look, and I don't mean to cut you off, but let's be real about one thing, right? Because you got a lot of you football coaches whose heads as big as goddamn the Jack in the Box man or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And truth of the matter, they ain't never coached in high school. They never coached in college. They ain't never coached in the pros, you know. So to answer your question, Tori, the reason why you have to be really careful with that line that you draw in the sand as far as the requirements because these guys are volunteers.
So we're not coaches, basically.
Right.
You
So-
didn't even say you coaches.
I was,
You
okay,
can't
so I
even
like
say
that.
that.
So can
Right,
we all
right.
say that San Antonio right now, since nobody's getting paid, all of y'all are volunteers?
Pretty much.
Yes,
Right,
we're all
okay.
volunteers.
So now, I do think that some guys coach at a higher level. You know what I'm saying? But once again, it's all subjective, right? The people that I'm running away from are the people that are looking for the me moment. You know what I'm saying? When I was in college, my old defense coordinator used to call it the disease of me. When everything is about you, you know what I'm saying? You can't be for the movement.
You can't.
You know what I'm saying? Because everything revolves around you. If you're having a bad day, then it's that bad day is projected upon everyone else.
Exactly.
Right? When you don't accomplish your goal, you look down on the goals of everyone else, right?
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I don't want my kid around a person that has the disease of me when everything is catered to them, right? I hear coaches that toot their horn all the time, and like I said, nowadays that's acceptable.
But see, that's the thing. That's the point I'm trying to make too. And see, that's what I want everybody to understand. See, bruh,
change that.
if you done been there before, see, that's what I'm saying. Man, when I was at the top of the youth sport thing in my little youth time of coaching, man, I had to complete. I had I had it all messed up. You see what I mean? But at that time, you got to think about it, bruh. I'm gonna tell you, and let me give you an example of that. And that's why I want these young cats to understand, the ones that got the big heads now, the ones that's doing all that, bruh. 2012.
It ain't just a young cat though.
Well, yeah, it's
I was
old
gonna
one
say,
too.
it's
But think
old
about
ones,
this,
too.
Fred. But I'm trying to speak game to the young cats, man. The older cats, man, they do what you
Right.
do. But the young ones, man, are the ones that we really want to do better because they the ones that's gonna carry this on moving forward. 2012, man. A lot of people didn't get a chance to see that because that show went out there. Man, the coach was on top of San Antonio.
Right.
We was on top of San Antonio. Man, I think we had beat y'all 3 or 4 games or whatnot. I went to the state championship that year. Man, we was on top. Man, when we got on top then, that following year, man, you couldn't tell me nothing. You see what I mean? I'm talking, like I said, I'm talking about organizations fear me. I'm talking, man, we out there whoop, whoop, fuck the Rockets. You see what I mean?
Right.
Doing stuff like that. We ain't win nothing else after that. You see what I'm saying? After that, everything went from like, man, I had good people in the coach organization. Man, I had good help, everything. Man, everything started to crumble. You see what I mean? We was on top. Right then, man, but we could have, at all honesty, right then, at that point, if you really wanted to like admit it, Fred, at that point, at that year, that's the year that I really could have put my foot on the Outlaws' neck.
Right.
And really just took over the whole San Antonio game.
Right.
But my mentality wasn't there because I felt like I had already arrived. But the thing was, I made it about me and not the organization. You see what I'm saying?
But you've learned from that, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Right.
that's
You've
what I'm trying
learned
to
from
tell
that.
them.
You've matured from that.
You're right. You can't be that way because what the point I'm trying to get at is that after that year, man, we still had a decent season, but everything started to go wrong.
Right.
Man, we had a lot of internal stuff happening, a lot of people getting into it, and after that, man, it got to the point where I just couldn't even do it no more. I couldn't do it no more, man. But see, all of that was a reflection of the me.
ego.
Yeah, the ego. But see, after that, and that's what I'm saying, man, the way the Lord worked, you know what I'm saying? I ended up going over here, and man, my ego was checked. I went over to the Outlaw thinking blah, 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 but my ego was checked. I'm not the man no more. I'm not, and man, you able to learn things that can help you moving forward. And then going on off and for a couple of years, then going to the Spartans, you're able to learn things that's going to help you going forward. Man, the moment you start making youth sports, which is the dumbest thing in the world to me now, now I look back on it, it's embarrassing to me. But the moment that you take youth sports and make it a me thing, you as an adult, you're not going to have any more success moving forward after that. Man, your heart got to be right. Your mind got to be right. You got to move a certain way when you're dealing with these kids.
And the ego has trickled down not only to the coaches, but the parents.
Exactly.
Parents, kids,
Exactly.
yeah.
Kids and all.
The kids too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man,
Well, let me say this, man, because I want to try to transition into one of the topics that I want to discuss, right? So hopefully y'all allow me to do that, right? The showcase is big, right? I mean, no doubt about it. I think a lot of kids and parents and coaches look forward to that. So this year with the Texas Showcase, being down in McAllen, I know we had intentions of going down there to kind of interview some of the kids and check out some of the games, but, our schedules didn't allow that to happen. But, because we're so well connected with a lot of these parents and players, got a lot of good feedback from that, So one of the things that I wanted to discuss was the impact that the city is having on these young athletes, right? So before I go any further, man, let me give a huge shout out to Coach Don Lowe for bringing back the only Showcase championship to San Antonio. So I'm going to go in and clap it up for my dude.
Congratulations, Coach.
You know what I'm saying?
Coach.
Because
Good job.
regardless of what you say about this guy, I know Lowe personally, and I've had conversations with him. You know what I'm saying? So the person that you see is Coach Lowe. Don Lowe is different from the actual father, husband that you get. But a lot of y'all don't get a chance to see that, right? So I'm going to get that man his flowers now because he's out there with the right heart, with the right intentions for these kids. He's trying to develop these kids, get them better. A lot of folks have a hard time saying that because they say, man, why would you get that man his props? That man coached the same age group that you coach, or he, this is a conflict of interest. And I don't see it.
That's always an
Well,
issue with San Antonio.
that's a hater's mentality, right? Because, Don Lowe went down there and he did something that only a few other folks have done out of San Antonio, and that's bring a championship.
I can't remember anybody winning
back home. I mean, it's been a few championships that San Antonio's won in the Showcase, but he didn't just win; they dominated. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at the Showcase for this year, man, I'm extremely proud for him. I'm extremely proud for him and the group of kids that he coached because after the victory, how many times have you seen Don Lowe on social media talking about, hey, I did this?
I haven't seen him on social
You
media.
ain't seen nothing.
All.
This guy's posted his kids.
Yeah.
He's posted how hard they worked. He's thanked his parents. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, regardless of what these other guys are saying, this man went out there and he actually put on for the city.
Yeah.
Right? So I can support a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? I can get behind him 110%. Matter of fact, Don Lowe, he would have been there today, but his son had a basketball game. He couldn't make it. He'll be here next week because I feel like these are the type of guys that we need to have on the show so that they can kind of get a chance to speak on their methods of getting these kids to unite, coach them up, and put out a great product, right? Now, as far as my overall thoughts on the Showcase, I'll be the first one to tell you I did not support the division of San Antonio, right? I mean, we've been busting our ass for years to come together.
And then we go split it up.
And then we split it up.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that there's unity in division. You may create a couple more opportunities, but I'm still a firm believer that we're stronger together. All right. So the other teams that made it to the semifinals, can you imagine what would happen if they had a few other pieces from the other side of San Antonio? May have been a different story. This may have been a year that San Antonio was able to get over the top, right? But because of selfish egos and guys saying, I've never got an opportunity to coach. So a platform needs to be created for me. It wasn't about the kids. It was about these grown-ass adults who bitch and complain every year about not being able to coach, right? Well, if you want to coach that bad, get out there and separate yourself from the rest of the pack. Seems like a lot of these guys only think about themselves. So when I think about San Antonio, it's always about the kids first. We've played Houston. Man, we've been playing Houston since 2009. We've been playing Dallas since 2011. You know what I'm saying? So this is not new to me, but I can't speak on behalf of the whole entire city. I know that you're not going to beat these guys until you unite, right? So when I look at the Showcase, and I don't have any input when it comes to the showcase, but I'm going to strongly encourage those showcase directors, Ricky Sanchez, Chris Russell, Clayton Guillory, Chris Von Wall, to strongly reconsider bringing San Antonio back together and put out the best damn product that can be put out so that these kids have an opportunity. Man, fuck the coaches. You know what I'm saying? Man, if Don Lowe took a team with primarily NLA kids and outlaw kids and won the championship, does not he deserve to be the coach for next year? So who give a damn about another 9U or 10U coach saying, hey, I didn't get a fair shot? You know what I'm saying? It's too much BS. It's too much crime. It's too much politics that are involved in these decisions that are made on behalf of the city. You know what I'm saying? I have a huge problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I have a huge problem with that. And like I said, hey, man, I don't run from nobody. I don't hide from nobody. These conversations I've had with people in these high places and said, hey, man, I don't agree with it. I'll support it, but I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what can we do as a city to make sure that we're represented in the right way when it comes to the kids?
Everybody needs to lose their egos. Oh, Ricky said that we actually brought 2 titles on 13U and 1 on 9U.
For this year?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think we won on 13U.
2 on 13U, 1 on 9U, Ricky. Is that right?
No, not for this year, though. I think he's talking. I know we won 13U last year, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So we won a few championships. But what I'm saying is this year was just on the 9U. Okay. I think this would have been the year for us to bring home possibly multiple championships had we not that divide. See, you can't talk unity while you dividing shit to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just period, point blank. You know what I'm saying? So, some folks may take offense to that, but it's my opinion.
Got it. Thanks, Ricky. Yeah, I agree.
We can move on because I've been advised not to speak on the showcase. So we can move on from that.
All right. So let's get into, this has been a hot topic, man. Right? Look, and I, for the record, I put a post out, I believe it was on Monday. Mm-hmm. And I basically put, man, year-round football, and I don't remember exactly what I said in the post, but I put year-round football is basically not the thing to do, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks getting paid off of year-round football, but it's not, in my opinion, in the best interest of the kids, right? So let me clarify.
I'd like to see an adult try to do year-round football.
There's not too many that can do that. So, but let me clarify my post, right? Because I don't want any. I need everybody to understand. And I said I was only going to speak once we got on this show. It's not a knock on 7-on-7. I believe 7-on-7 serves a great purpose for football, whether it's youth football, middle school football, high school football, or whatnot. So I'm a big advocate of 7-on-7. It's not even against spring football, because anyone who's played football knows that every program, whether it be high school, college, even if you go to the NFL, these guys have spring programs to help enhance their abilities. Programs, right? Now, what I was saying was I don't believe that the tournament ball is necessary, because you got guys that are monetizing off of tournaments, 2 and 3, 4 months after the football season. So in order for these kids to participate in these tournaments, they got to do what? They got to continue to practice. They got to continue to bang. At what time do these kids get a chance to take a break? At the highest level of football, these guys may play 23, 25 games?
At the most, yeah.
All right. Some of these young athletes are going to tournaments playing between 3 to 5 games in a weekend.
And doing it
right?
every other weekend.
And once again, so that y'all understand, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, because I once subscribed to the same philosophy.
That's what yeah.
Right? But as you get older, you learn, right? So at this point, if you got kids playing football, we're not talking about tennis, tackle football, right? And these guys are competing in between 30 to 50 tackle games a year.
That's crazy.
Somebody has to advocate for these kids and say, look, hey, man, enough is enough, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn how much money is being made. You know what I'm saying? As a parent, it's your responsibility to say, not my kid.
But that's the problem because the parents want them to do it too. Man, you get just as many parents that argue it, been arguing with me about it than it is coaches. Because the thing is, man, the truth be told, man, you should wipe spring football. You should wipe it. It shouldn't be no spring football, no tournaments, none of that. And like I said, man, I'm going to say it. I don't care. I'm not trying to knock nobody on, you know what I'm saying, what they trying to do or whatnot. This is my opinion because I have seen it. And the reason why you've seen it. You've seen it, man, because we've done it. Man, you got kids, like Fred just said, that's playing probably 12 to 14 games in their fall season. After that, go do your all-star games. Man, that's something you don't want to take away from them because that's something they can celebrate. That's something they can do to celebrate the season that they had. Do your little all-star games or whatnot, cool. Do that. But to go and play in a tournament this week, like Fred said, 3 to 4 games. Play another tournament, 3 to 4 games. 3 to 4 games. Then you're going to play a spring season. And then if you're playing on a team that's good enough, you're going to play what? Maybe 12 to 13 games in that to make it to the championship. The spring championship for most leagues end in June. That's when it end of May, June.
That's when we begin our.
Most fall seasons start practice in late June. So that means these kids are playing basically year-round football.
Right.
That's crazy.
There's absolutely no reason for them to be taking those type of bangs, those type of hits playing youth football. There's no reason for it because it all look good right now. I've seen it. It all look good right now. When that kid get into high school, he's gonna be on the bottom of he might be on top now, but he's gonna be at the bottom of that you know what I'm saying, of that chain when you get into high school. And all the kids that sat out and worked out and trained and did all the stuff they did in the off season, instead of going out there getting all them bangs against their body, them the ones that's gonna elevate and be at the top of the chain. And I've seen it. That's what I'm saying. Ain't nothing that I'm saying that I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you with the spring stuff because I do believe that spring football serves a purpose, right? But it's for those kids who really need that extra development, the extra tutelage. The issue that we run into with spring football is you got parents and coaches, man, trying to win a spring championship. You know, they got their best kids out there, and they still won't allow that kid who's not getting the game reps in the fall to get out there and get an opportunity to get some game experience. If you take spring football to back to what it was intentionally designed for, which is development, game experience, then yes, it serves its purpose, right? But when you're out there simply trying to edify an ego and say, hey, man, I got another trophy, I got another ring, you know, then it becomes problematic because you're basically using these kids as pawns in a egotistical game to benefit yourself, right? Now, when I say, how do you fix it?
Get rid of it. That's the only way you're going to fix it.
Every organization has an obligation to their parents, in my opinion, right? So with the Outlaws, we haven't done spring football in maybe, 3-4 years? You know, now that don't mean that I'm against spring football. I tell my coaches, hey, man, if you want to put a developmental team together to go out there and build some chemistry, build some camaraderie, you know, then, man, by all means.
But coaches don't have that standard. They automatically think, oh, well, since I'm about to start something, I need all my kids, best kids out here, and I got to go win now. They don't know when to, like, what's the stopping point, saying this is for development or this is to win.
Right. So, and you're 100% correct when you say that because, once again, depending on who you have as a leader of that team is going to determine what the agenda is. All right. So, I know Q kind of got a lot of backlash for advocating for spring, right?
Yeah, I've been getting it to him. Me and
Right.
him been going back and forth. It's been good stuff.
You know,
though. All friendly.
so if you know Q as a person, you know that shit don't bother Q.
Right.
Q likes to have fun with that. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get on there and he's gonna clown around with it, whatever. But I actually agree with Q. I think spring is a necessity for those kids that need it, right? There's been a lot of talk about 7-on-7, right? And even when it comes to 7-on-7, 7-on-7 is not the answer for spring because once again, you know, what about the linemen? Mm-hmm. What are the linemen going to do to get game reps, right? You know, everybody nowadays subscribes to the 7-on-7 philosophy. Once again, let me say this so that you guys understand exactly what I'm saying. Have no problem with 7-on-7 whatsoever, right? But as far as the narrative being put out there that 7-on-7 is the end-all, be-all of football is fucking ridiculous.
Fred, let me ask you something real quick before you go on. Man, do middle school, high school kids take the kids that's really not that good but on their team, the kids that sit on the bench? Do they put a season together for them to play in the spring so they can go out there and play a full season of football to develop them?
No.
Do NFL do that? Guys that been sitting on the bench, the guys that don't make as much money? No. College don't. So there's no reason for us to do it either.
I thought that was like the D League or something like that.
Right, okay. So
That's basketball, not
now we'll tell you this. Every successful high school program has spring football.
But not
right?
a season.
So they may not play in a season, but they still practice and they still compete the same way, right? So when they get out there and they have the spring games and all of that kind of stuff, it's trying to prepare that team for the fall.
How many weeks do they do that though? Think about it.
It really just depends. You know what I'm saying?
I
think UIL mandates the amount of time that they can be out there, right?
It ain't 8 weeks. I can tell you that. It ain't 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
It ain't going to be no 6 games. They're not playing 6 spring games or whatever, right? But the point I'm trying to make is this. I talked to Coach Q today, right? And I asked him, I said, Q, let me ask you a question, man. As a man of your house, how many other men have told you how to run your household? You know what his answer was? 0.
Shit, I hope so.
Why the hell do you care how another man run his household?
Right.
If that's the way he chooses to run his household, that's his prerogative.
Right.
Right? So who are you to judge what he thinks is best for his family? So I look at the organizations as the same way. I'm not telling organizations what they should or what they should not do. I'm just telling you whatever you decide to do it with the correct mind, the correct spirit to help your players get better, and don't make it about you. Right? Because even with the 7-on-7, we've gotten to the point now to where even 7-on-7 ain't about the damn kids. You know what I'm saying? You know, you look at the 7-on-7 videos, right? You got kids out there damn me fighting every goddamn game. Man, is that what I want to teach my kids?
Man,
hell no.
It's anything about the kids when it comes to youth sports, not though.
Not really.
Another basketball, football, 7-on-7, any of that. So the thing, like I said, what you just said a few minutes ago about trying to tell somebody to run their household, let me get that clear too, man. I'm definitely not trying to tell anybody how to run their organization, how to run their household. You know what I mean? But the thing is this, man, you can have an opinion on it. And my opinion on it is, man, trying to help because I've been on that side of it. So I'm trying to help. But like I said in my comments, man, to each his own, man. At the end of the day, you do what's best, what you think's best for you and your kids. I can have my opinion. My opinion may not be a popular opinion, but that's just my opinion on it. You know what I mean? And I feel like what I'm trying to tell you could possibly help you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if it can't, then shit, hey, man, who am I? The hell with what I say.
Right.
You know.
Well, you know, like I said, I mean, you know, one of my biggest things when it comes to opinions is this, man. You know, you shouldn't argue with a person over their opinion.
Right.
Everybody has a right to their own opinion.
Right.
You know, but it's a difference when you speak opinion versus fact. You know what I'm saying? You know, a fact, there really shouldn't be no debate about it. At the end of the day, the majority of the things that we discuss are opinions. Is 7-on-7 good or not? Well, that's subjective. All right, depends on which parent you ask, or what coach you ask, which organization you ask. As of right now, the Outlaws don't have a 7-on-7 program. So if you ask me about 7-on-7, I'm like, hey, man, when our football season ends in November or December, you know, that time is now allocated for the kids to run track, play basketball, baseball, do personal training, 7-on-7, whatever they choose to do. But as far as an organization, we're done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let them do whatever it is that they decide to do, right? But it still doesn't alleviate the fact, you know what I'm saying, that there's still certain sectors of youth sports to say, hey, man, if you don't subscribe to my philosophy, you're an idiot. You're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm trying to be politically correct, but then again, I really don't give two shits about it. Everybody has a difference of opinion when it comes to football after fall. Whether it's winter football, spring football, 7-on-7, tournaments or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. But don't try to make it seem as if you have the answers or that your answer is a universal answer to everybody else, right?
There's no answer.
There's no answer.
Like I said,
right.
I put that, it is no answer. It's choice. That's the answer. The answer is choice. It's what you decide to do. It's what you feel is right. You know what I mean? Now, does that mean that I can't tell anybody what I feel is right? Like I said, I can say it the same way they can say it. But like I said, that's just an opinion.
Everything
you know what
is
I mean?
an opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, all of us could be right.
But Ricky,
All of us could be right. You know why? Because this is what's best for us.
So going to the comments, just Ricky, he's saying, 7-on-7 brings college recruiters, rivals reporters. Okay, and then looking at those recruiters are looking at the 15U, 16U, and 18U level. So, that is true on, with DEF CON. I can speak on DEF CON because my son plays on DEF CON. That is after, going through the meeting with Clayton and all of his coaches. That's what their goal is on their 7-on-7 team. Now, I know that the Owls have also played with 7-on-7 and there are other teams.
I have 7-on-7 right. I have a 7-on-7 team. I'm starting a 7-on-7 league over in Alabama and got 7-on-7 teams over there. So there's a whole bunch. Everybody has a different end game, when it comes to 7-on-7.
Let me say this, all right? So, I'm one that doesn't just listen to what people say. I'm one that does research. Mm-hmm. I do fact finding or whatnot because I want to be able to support whatever I say. All right. I may be wrong, but I've never seen a 7-on-7 player get a scholarship strictly playing 7-on-7. All right. 7-on-7 is 7-on-7 helps exemplify what you've done playing actual football, right?
For the skill player. Right? So I don't give a damn how great you are in 7-on-7 drills. If that doesn't translate to the football field, it's all for nothing, right? You're not getting a pass rush in 7-on-7. You're not getting the mental anguish of a 300-pound lineman, knocking the shit out of you, and you happen to get up and pull yourself together, head buzzing and stuff like that or whatever, and go for a next play within 30 seconds. I thought that was always the meaning behind 7-on-7 was to get you ready for
right. So what I'm saying is this: 7-on-7 is awesome. It's great. But you're being misled if you feel like you're getting a scholarship strictly based on 7-on-7.
Got it.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you still have to get on the football field and do what you need to do. So although I agree with Ricky and what he's saying, that the college scouts are coming out, yes, they are. But let's make one thing clear. For anybody who knows about college recruiting and college letter of intents, most of these guys have already signed letter of intents, right? I mean, that time is over with. Mm-hmm. All right? So whatever college recruit is coming out now is coming for the following season. So if you're a senior right now playing 7-on-7, hoping to get a scholarship, you done missed a boat. Not saying that you can't get a scholarship or that you can't get some help or what have you, but that scout is not out there looking at you. That scout is out there looking at a junior or a sophomore or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be extremely careful and you have to be able to identify what agenda is being put out there. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's your kid, you need to do your own research.
Yeah.
You need to do your own fact finding and see if this is beneficial to you or to your child. Because once again, I've seen kids that were monsters in football, like actual football, not get scholarships. You know what I'm saying? And they're actually out there proving themselves week in and week out. Like I said, I may be wrong. I doubt it. But I may be wrong. If you can show me any kid who's only played 7-on-7 and received a full scholarship to a Power 5, man, I will come on this show dressed in a Bozo the Clown outfit or what have you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm finna go look for one. I hope I can find one, damn it.
So
now, hold on. Now, let me say this. That's with you being an average kid. If you 6'5", you 230, yeah, that's based on metrics. They give scholarship to kids like that all the time.
I mean, what you saying is right, man. Look, 7-on-7, look, both of y'all right. You ain't Ricky right. But here's the third thing. You're not going to get a scholarship, like Fred said, you're not going to get a scholarship based on you just playing 7-on-7. Man, these people have heard of you or known something about you, and you're out at that 7-on-7 event, so that's just another platform for you to go out and showcase your skills. So, if you know what I'm saying, let's say, I'm a recruiter, and I didn't have interest of Fred, and I watched Fred, you know what I'm saying, at his school during the season or whatnot.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying, he's one of the guys on my list. Now, I may show up at this 7-on-7 event that he's in, and I watch him, and I see, okay, he got great ball skills.
It just solidifies what you've already.
That just solidifies what I've already had in me. So you know what? Yes, that's an opportunity for me to go offer this kid an opportunity to come to my school.
But what if you, as a recruiter, see somebody else that's playing with him?
Yes, but that happens in football. That happens not just 7-on-7. That's like, period.
So Tori, let me answer that for you. I come out there to see Mauricus, right? In the midst of that, I see another kid. I'm like, man, that kid is pretty goddamn good.
Right.
I'm not going to offer that kid no scholarship. You know what I'm going to do? I need to see his high school film. I need to see how this guy performed on the field. I need to know what kind of person he is. All right? I need to know how he recovers from a big hit. I need to know what his body language is on the sideline. I need to know all these intangibles that are away from just catching and throwing in a pair of fucking draws. You know what I'm saying? That's what it needs to be, right? So once again, although I'm an advocate for 7-on-7, man, once again, make no mistakes about it. You're being misled if you feel as if your kid can only play 7-on-7 and receive a full D1 scholarship, right? I'm going to use Anthony Evans for an example, right? I think that guy's a tremendous talent, man. I think he's at Georgia right now, right? I'm sure Anthony Evans played 7-on-7, right? Who did he play with? The Ducks? Was it DEFCON?
I think he played with both at one period.
Okay,
time,
so he's played 7-on-7. You know, so I want to give credit to the proper organization, whether it's DEFCON or the Ducks. I don't know which team he played with, but I know he played 7-on-7. I'm gonna clap it up for him, right? Anthony Evans also ran track, right? And the dude dominated in track. So those same football scouts that at these 7-on-7 events also at them track meets, all right? But do you think a college football scout goes to a track meet and says, boy, that kid sure is fast. He ain't never played football before, but he fast as hell. If that's the case, every kid that's won the 100 that didn't play football will be receiving a football scholarship. You know, every kid that can dunk a basketball with a 40-inch vertical will be receiving football scholarships. You still have to prove yourself on the football field. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say you have to be very careful with who you align yourself with, because at the end of the day, if you're speaking facts to these kids and you're trying to help these kids get to the next level, you have to be factual with them. You need to tell them, hey, man, I don't give a damn how many touchdowns you catch. Man, if you can't do this, if you can't replicate the same ability on the football field, it's going to be tough for you. You know what I'm saying? Now, once again, I would love for somebody to be able to prove that wrong to me. You know what I'm saying? Although I don't speak much on the subject, I'm very well in tune with how this works. You know what I'm saying? So, once again, nothing against 7-on-7. I think 7-on-7 is tremendous. I think it's awesome. I also think spring football is awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you as a parent to determine which works best for you. Yeah. All right? So, if you're talking about spring football, this is my opinion. Spring football should be for youth maybe up to about the age of 10. All right? After that, 7-on-7. because now you minimize the hits on the body for the kids that should already be a little bit more advanced, a little bit more developed. Now they don't need that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you right now, I'm not investing thousands of dollars in 707 for an 8-year-old kid.
No.
It's not going. It's not. The benefit
sense.
is not
that
there.
That part don't make sense. You know what I mean? No, that part don't make sense. But like I said, 8-year-old kids, like that's tough doing 707 anyway. But if you're talking about the financial part of it, then yeah, man, you don't need. You got to be smart what you investing in when it comes to 707.
Right.
You have to be smart with that. You know what I'm saying? If you got somebody charging you outrageous prices, man, you probably shouldn't. Like you said, man, you get a wife beater and draws to play in. You see what I'm saying? That's what you get for 707. So
don't forget the helmet.
So hold on. Let me make this point that Hatter made. Hatter just said,
he's been making points.
not one football recruiter ever asked my son about 707. They asked about grades, character, and they had already seen the game film. You know what I'm saying? So once again, this is for somebody whose son just signed a college full scholarship. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that you need to align yourself with to see how the process goes. All right? An offer is nothing. Look, matter of fact, we got it on the agenda. We're going to do a whole show to educate these parents on what a college offer actually means. I'm in sales. You know, I make offers every day. Don't mean somebody going to accept it. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean the offer's going to have favorable terms. You know what I'm saying? People get stuck on, hey, man, I got an offer. Well, what did the offer entail? A partial scholarship, some financial aid, a whole bunch of loans on the back end. Well, I mean, come on, anybody can get that. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the ultimate goal of parents is being able to have their child's tuition, room and board, meal plans, all this stuff paid for with no student loans.
Yeah.
All right? You know, that should be the ultimate goal if we're talking about scholarships and offers.
For any sport.
For any sport, right? So that's my 2 cents on it. Like I said, I'm willing to debate anybody on that because once again, you know, this is not something that I don't know. You know, a lot of the guys I played college football with, these are coaches now. You know, so when they reach back out to me and say, and they educate me, hey, Brother Fred, this is how it works.
man, I hate to say it, but we got to go to a break. Well, I got to go to a break, man.
Well,
go to a break, dog.
It's 8:30, y'all.
No, I got one more topic that I got. back from break.
Break.
Man, let's go to some of the comments, man, because I think
Yeah.
that was a good segment, and we apologize for the break, man. Every now and then we just got to, we've been going for about an hour and a half, man, so we got to get up,
was real
stretch our
sudden.
legs and whatnot.
Marikis had to. He was holding it. He was holding it.
Now,
He couldn't
okay,
hold it no more.
so Sean Battles, who's actually a coach with DMF Ducks, he's going to be coaching at 9U team?
Right.
All right, so he had a good take, right? His take was, man, unless you playing high school 707, it's useless. And he said, I said what I said. And I agree with that. Because once again, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you playing 707 as an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old, man, I'm not sure how much benefit you get from that. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer those kids to just be in a structured spring program, getting trained or a training program, you know what I'm saying, working on their particular skills.
And that's kind of, you know what, and that's what I can say. I feel like they could. That's the benefit of the
7-on-7, that's what it
for the
is.
younger age group. That's them like just working on their skills.
And the older kids.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to read. Can you just scroll up a little bit so we can read James's comment? All right, so Mr. James Champagne. Truth be told, some of those field managers are actual college coaches. It's their off season for the most part, right? So I know some of these big 7-on-7 tournaments, those guys are out there full force, man, because who don't want to break, the next five-star recruit, 4-star recruit, right? And sometimes, man, you may find a diamond in the rough out there. The only thing I'm saying is it still has a backup on the football field. Whatever you do in the 7-on-7, you have to be able to back that up on the football field. You know what I'm saying? That's just why I feel about that. Now, San Antonio versus Houston. All right, these were my topics I put on, because y'all didn't put y'all topics out there.
Whatever.
So I put the topics that I want to discuss, right? So San Antonio versus Houston. Everybody knows me, knows that I love competing against the Houston organizations because, in my opinion, those guys have set the bar for competition in the state of Texas, along with the DFW area. But because Houston is a little bit closer to us, we have, in my opinion, a tighter relationship with the Houston organizations and the Houston leagues, right? They've always shown us love when it comes to the competition aspect or whatnot. But I do feel like Houston folks think the San Antonio football is inferior to them.
Well, if you keep winning against them, I would too.
Okay, but my opinion is this. I talked about Don Lowe earlier, right? I don't think Don Lowe give a damn about Houston football, right? I don't give a damn about Houston football. I'm ready to compete against anybody who, right?
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw. But the whole San Antonio versus Houston deal is as simple as this to me. If you're a San Antonio coach and you're afraid to compete against these Houston orgs,
is that the census? Like, where are we? Where are we going with this? What are we doing here?
This is where I'm going with it because, getting back to the showcase, right? I think the reason why Don Lowe's team was successful was because Don Lowe don't give a damn about who he plays. He just goes out and plays. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole mentality. Okay. San Antonio versus Houston, right? This ain't no knock on Houston because I've already given those guys their flowers and said, man, they have a great system for bringing their best kids together to play outsiders, whether it be San Antonio, whether it be Dallas, whether it be people outside the state of Texas or whatnot. We've not gotten there yet.
So you're saying San Antonio doesn't have the right mentality to face?
We don't have the right mentality.
Dallas teams to face these Houston teams.
We don't. We don't. And a lot of these guys are probably going to be pissed by me saying this, but, as a man, if you are preaching fear into your team, you're doing your team a disservice, right? I just said, man, I ain't going to call no coach trash because everybody coaches to the best of their ability for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're not willing to test yourself against the best, then what are you doing it for?
So San Antonio is scared to lose, is what you're saying.
But man, look, and man, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm gonna tell you this though, dog. It's almost like what you just said about spring football and 7-on-7. Man, to each his own. If they don't want to play against Houston, they don't want to play against Dallas, man, that's their thing.
Right.
See what I'm saying? That's them.
Well, I'm not knocking them for it.
We can't say they scared. We can't say none of that.
Well, I can say they scared, and I'm gonna say they scared.
Why are you saying they scared?
I'm gonna say they scared because with the way that youth football has evolved, taking a 3-hour trip up 10 is not a big deal anymore. It's not a big deal anymore, man. People talk about this travel as if the travel is the end of the world. I got to drive 3 hours to go play in Houston, and we're not willing to do that. Well, you wouldn't mind going 3 hours up the road to take your kid to an amusement park.
I'm so sick of folks critiquing me on the microphone, man. Look, here you go.
Hey, put that joker straight. Put it straight up to your lips, dog. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what they have different. That's what they have different leagues in San Antonio for. So,
right. Are
you just referring to our gridiron folks, or are you talking about our type of folks?
Okay, so I'm just speaking in general terms,
okay.
Right? Because some folks are comfortable playing in their own sandbox, right? But you also get a lot of these same coaches that are comfortable playing in their sandbox that have disparaging remarks about those of us that try to get outside the sandbox.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no shame in me losing to someone that's better than me, right? I mean, how can you be ashamed for shooting for the stars? Yeah. If you miss, hey, man, at least I gave the shit a try. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm constantly beating up on the same teams over and over and over and over again, at what point in time do I say, man, I'm looking for a better challenge, right? We won Taifa, I believe, for 6 years. I don't know how many state championships we won. I think it was quite a few. I think 11. So if I'm not mistaken, we're probably the most winning organization in Taifa in 6 years. Or I know we're in the top 3, right? So people say, why didn't you stay in Taifa? Because it was no longer challenging. Okay. That's not a knock on type of championships because, like I said, I don't speak down on nothing that I don't have. I have those championships,
right?
As a coach and also as a president. You know what I'm saying? It just became time to take it to the next level, right? So you're going to have folks that say, oh, man, well, what about YNC or what about – look, man, hey, we're going to take our levels. We're going to max our potential out based on what's out there. You know what I'm saying? So – at the end of the day, I'm not saying that you got to jump from Najif to YNC. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, man, if you can jump from Najif to Taifa, which is maybe a tad bit higher, if you can, and this is just my opinion, if you can jump from Taifa to Gridiron, which is just a tad bit higher, you know what I'm saying, then why not do that? Because the whole thing with the San Antonio versus Houston deal is this. Houston has enough competition within his own city to where they never have to leave. Can we say the same thing in San Antonio? Can we?
I mean, we don't even know because we have so many damn teams here. I feel like every time you turn around, you got another team popping
up. But are those
up.
teams on that same level? Somebody look, Q. Listen. I don't want to dominate the mic, but I'm gonna say this: Cornerstone, it's time for y'all to step outside the box. I respect Icy. I respect Lamont. I respect the leadership of Cornerstone. Man, it's time for y'all to step out the box, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it got to be with Gridiron or any particular league, you know, and I know that they play some preseason games against some other teams, but it's time to step outside, you know. Columbia.
They're still going.
I tell people this all the time because I have so much high respect for Columbia. Columbia's been around for over 40 years. Hell, I played against Columbia when I was a kid. That is, in my opinion, the most storied youth football organization in San Antonio right now. I would love to say it's the Outlaws. We've only been around since 2009. Columbia's been around, I want to say at least since 75, man. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? So they've been around for a long time. But it's time for them to step outside the box.
They've been around since 75. They're not going to step outside the damn box.
Well, they not because they're content with where they at.
I I mean, ain't they pretty much natural though? Ain't that pretty much their league?
Right.
That's what I said. I thought.
Right. Right. It is.
You know what I mean? Because it's their league. So I mean, you know.
But then you have these leagues or these teams that don't want to travel. So why are we?
Why not though?
Shame on you because they don't. They have maybe have parents who don't have the funds to travel, or they have. They're. You're right. They're inside their sandbox.
So let me say this, man. I don't know how much a tank of, well, I know how much my tank of gas costs, right? It ain't that damn expensive to drive 3 hours up the road, man. You know, I think I can fill my tank up, get to Houston, and get almost back on one tank. You know, hotel rooms, man, anywhere between $60 to whatever. You know what I'm saying? If it's for a better experience for your kids, why not give them that? You know what I'm saying? That's my only issue. So when I say San Antonio versus Houston, you know, the only reason why I even use that is because Houston is a hotbed for football, right? I mean, how can you measure yourself if you won't even play the teams out of Houston?
Yeah.
If you don't have at least 2 or 3 Houston teams on your schedule a year, you missing a boat, in my opinion. Once again, hey, everybody's entitled to an opinion, right? Not saying that it's right or it's gospel, but I'm saying if you're not putting at least 2 to 3 teams from Houston on your schedule, I don't think that you're pushing your kids. You know, and we live in a culture nowadays where everything is what? Win, 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 post, brag, or whatever. And it's not fun when you get your ass kicked. But I think I've learned more in losses than I have in winning. You know what I'm saying? So challenge the kids, challenge the coaches, challenge the parents. You know, I'll say this, man, there's certain parents, I ain't gonna lie, man, I absolutely can't stand. You know what I'm saying? And I'll never go publicly and say who those parents are, but y'all post stuff on social media every day about how great y'all kids are, but have yet to challenge your kids on a higher level. You know, so once again, my whole take on the San Antonio versus Houston stuff, and that's simply based off of the showcase. I think it's 8 age groups. North Houston won, what, was it 4 or 5?
Didn't they win every one except the one we got?
No, they won every one except for the two that South Houston. You can't speak on that, dog. Okay, but I can. So the two that South Houston won 2. North Houston won. No, South Houston won 2. San Antonio won 1. So that means North Houston has to win at least 5. So just from the city of Houston, they won at least 7 showcase championships. Why ain't we playing these guys during the season? DeCorey Jones made a comment and says, for the one team that won, the majority of those kids came out of gridiron.
Right.
And those kids that played in gridiron played Houston teams every weekend.
So they was used to it.
They was used to it. Mm-hmm. Every other team got close, but they couldn't finish. So parents, why aren't you challenging your kids? Coaches, why aren't you challenging your players? Organizations, why aren't you challenging yourself? That's all I got on that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, once again, I'm all up for debate. Y'all can come on here right now. Put in the comments if I'm wrong. Call me out. Call me out right now if I'm wrong in the comments.
They got to call you out. We finna wrap this up, man.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's calling you out. Because, I mean, you have a point, but everybody's circumstances are different.
Excuse. All right, so look, I've said what I've said, and I stand on every single thing that I've said tonight. You know what I'm saying? If there's anyone that would care to debate anything that I've said tonight, man, you can either inbox me. I have no problem, bringing you on the show, debating the topic or whatnot. If there's anyone who has taken offense to what I said, hey, it's my opinion. I don't get offended by other people's opinion. You know what I'm saying? If there's anyone who feels like this was directed toward them, then it probably was. You know what I'm saying? So, once again, I stand on everything that I say. You know, I think Torian Rodriguez is starting to, you know, I'm telling y'all right now, man, I'm starting to cut loose right now. You know, we what, 5 shows in? You know what I'm saying? The first few shows, we trying to get the feel for it. Mm-hmm. You know, now y'all are going to start to get, you know, some of the things that I've been wanting to talk about
Preacher
for a while.
Fred, the Preacher Fred.
There you go, man. I'm going to put it out there.
We gonna get
You know what I'm saying?
Fred.
So it's like, hey, man, don't hate me, debate me. It's plain and simple. I stand on everything I say.
As you
You
should,
know, with that being said, you know, I'm done until next week. You know, so I would love to see the feedback. I would love to see the comments, and you know, we can go from there.
Yeah, let's get it. Send us some good topics to talk about next week. Thank you, Stacey, for sending me that topic.
Yes, thank you, Stacey.
Appreciate it.
And
y'all.
don't forget to subscribe and like our YouTube page. That's very important to us. All right. So eventually we're gonna start streaming on YouTube as well. So make sure you go to the Tap In YouTube page, smash that like button, subscribe to us, and let us know what you think of the show. All right. As soon as the show is over, I'm gonna go and put a link on my personal Facebook page, and I encourage you guys to do the same.
Yeah, we'll do
to
it.
give us that feedback. All right. We're not always right. You know what I'm saying? We want to know what y'all think about our shows, right? If y'all like it, keep tuning in.
If not, let us know.
Right.
All right, y'all. Enjoy your weekend.
Hey, until next Thursday.
Tap in next Thursday.